This item is a presentation.
Mr. Chair, the representative from the Finance Office needs to leave and is asking if you could take your consent agenda out of order. She can only stay a few more minutes.
Okay, we have a presentation, PBIS/CI3T framework. Mrs. Colley and students.
Hi. So thank you very much for having me here, and also for welcoming 5 of our students from Monument Elementary School. I've heard a lot of conversation during board meetings about what's this CI3T? What is this all about? So one part of our CI3T framework and our comprehensive plan is our PBIS framework, and I brought my experts along to share that. So I've put in front of you actually our whole packet. I have it also on our PowerPoint behind you if you'd like to look at the PowerPoint. But we're gonna, yes, you can move, absolutely, please. If you'd like to. So the BSD schools, along with our outlying schools, Shaftesbury, Pownell, and the middle school, have been working on a comprehensive plan of integrated three-tiered model of prevention. A part of that plan does, as I say, include our PBIS framework. So we're going to share a little bit about that. But this is a plan that we're going to roll out in the fall. We're going to be completing it at the end of June with our team. And it's going to be a very transparent plan, and it's going to show what the expectations are for not only us as teachers and staff members, what the expectations are for students, and what the expectations are for our parents. So it's coming together as a community in support of kids in every area: academic, behavior, and social emotional components. All right? So our plan starts with, and you'll see the top form that you have there, we have a mission here. Monument Elementary School strives for academic excellence, behavioral and social competence, with a unified community in which everyone belongs. Our purpose here, we're here to create a kind, responsible, safe, and respectful and positive environment so that we can foster academic excellence and behavioral and emotional competence. Our 5 school-wide expectations are be kind, be safe, be respectful, responsible, and certainly positive. That's not just for children. That's for adults. Anyone that comes into our community, we foster that, we model that as adults, and we want our children to know that the model that we present to them is something that they can also reflect. And these are 5 great models right here. So very quickly, you're going to be able to look at this plan yourself. That's why I gave you it in print. But very quickly, you're going to see, if you look up here, area of academic, behavior, and social skills. You're going to notice that there are expectations for our students. There are expectations for our faculty members and staff. There are expectations for our parents. So we're going to help our parents to also provide these expectations and support them. And then there are expectations for the administrator. So I have a big job. I have to make sure that I'm doing my part just as well as the staff, the parents, and the students in regards to this plan. The other piece that brings great validity and fidelity to this program is part of our team is one of our parents. And it just so happens that parent is here tonight. So we're very happy that she's a part of our team. She actually has come to all of our workshops. She's provided great input. We have a voice of a parent for our community that really brings great validity to our plan, which is really, really important. So, and more of my expectations as an administrator. So now, for the experts. These are our behavior expectations right here. And if you look, and you have a copy of this too, we have our 5 expectations, and this is what our children learn, that in the classroom, hallway, in the cafeteria, the bathrooms, the playgrounds, when we have assemblies, on the bus, during morning announcements, during arrival and dismissal times. There are clear expectations, so our children learn what being positive is in all of these environments. I'm going to turn it over to our experts. They're going to come up here, and they're going to talk about our High Fives, our expectations, and how they earn rewards from doing the right thing. Come on up. They're all being really quiet. So please, let's just first introduce yourselves to our community. So give your name.
I'm Sophia Annisman, and I'm a student at Monument Elementary.
I'm Chase Dobson, and I'm a student at Monument.
I'm Eva Capella, and I'm a student at Monument.
I'm Asa Jelly. I'm a 5th grade student at Monument.
I'm Stella Donza. I'm a 4th grade student at Monument.
So there's 5 expectations that adults and children should follow throughout the day at Monument, and it's be safe, positive, respectful, responsible, and kind. And they explain what to do instead of what not to do. And you should follow the B's in and out of school because it's good guidelines to live a good life.
So when a teacher sees you doing something that follows the 5B expectations, she will stick a little yellow sticker, or he will stick a little yellow sticker on your shoulder. Once you get 50 of these little yellow stickers called honey drops, you can cash in to get a prize.
You can cash in when you get 50 honey drops for things like tombstone tours, when Mr. Lane, a teacher, takes you across the street to the tombstones, or you can cash in for something like a movie or popcorn, and these are some more. You can pass these around.
Another reward you may get is a High Five. That is if you're being especially nice, and you can put it in a bucket, and at an assembly, a whole school assembly, you may get picked. But if not, they will be all put into a big pile, and this pile will be counted, and when you have enough, you can do a whole school reward. Some rewards cost more than others. There's like Hike at the Park McCullough, Fancy Friday, and Kites at Willow Park.
So does anyone have any questions?
The floor is open.
Not a question, but a statement. I'm going to tell you, I taught school for 30 years, and there's nothing as nice as a nice student and a nice person. And not only do you have to be nice, but like you're doing is you're caring and helping other kids. If you see them do something, probably you could speak up and say, maybe that's not one of the B's that we're talking about, you know, and I think you guys are doing a great job. I'm really proud of you.
I think he deserves another honey drop. What do you think? So if you notice, you all received honey drops because you actually were using your best listening skills, and so we very quickly will do that and recognize our students. It's very easy to get to 50 honey drops and cash in for one of those beautiful prizes. So as you can see, we model this all over school. We have signs, we have reminders throughout our halls. We have our honey drop menu right in that hall, so it reminds the students every time they walk down that hall that they too can cash in. Now the High Five, which I didn't give, but I'm certainly going to give all of you a High Five because your listening and your attentive skills this evening have been extraordinary. So that means not only do you get some honey drops, but you have gone beyond, and our presenters also are going to be getting one of these. But when you get a High Five, you also get entered into a class. You put your High Five in the class bucket. And so, for example, I have yours all written out, all right? And I'm going to take, Mr. Rowley, you are getting your High Five for all 5 expectations. So you've been very kind, respectful, responsible, safe, and positive. So you have your sticker. You're going to put that sticker on. I'm going to put the other portion of it in your classroom basket. Okay. And so you now get to come to the office. And you get to tell me why you got that sticker. What did you do to earn that sticker so that you too can pick from our prize and sticker bucket? Do you remember why you got that sticker, Mr. Rowley?
I was being very attentive, and I was
You got it.
doing my work.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we do that
And I
because
was
we
listening.
want children to internalize. We want them to know, not just they have this sticker, but why did you get this sticker? Yes, it's fun to get the sticker. Yes, it's fun to go to the little prize basket and get a sticker from the principal. But every time a student comes in with one of those stickers, we say, why did you get that? Tell me why. If they forget, we tell them to go back and find out. Because we really want them to internalize all of the good things that they do and recognize it. So it becomes very innate for them. And they don't have to think about following them. It becomes natural. It becomes something that they do all day, outside of school and inside of school. So thank you. You five deserve a High Five because you've gone beyond your expectations here at school. I'm going to make sure that your classroom teachers have the other portion. And as a special treat, just because your moms also had to come here and it is outside of the school day, you're going to get an ice cream party. And I was thinking, who should we invite to that ice cream party?
Huddle.
Would you like to come and join us for the ice cream party?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll decide upon a date and we'll let all of you know when their ice cream party is going to be, and that's how they get that reward.
Great.
It's not anything real big, but it's just enough for them to understand that they're really making fabulous choices. So I'm going to expect to see all of you for an ice cream party before June 10th.
Great.
Very good. So that's the best part of the presentation tonight because it really is all about our students, but we really need to remember that we come together as a community, and this plan lets us understand what all of our roles are. It's just not about the students, it's about the parents, it's about the teachers, it's about the staff members, and it's about the community members. So outside of this community, we're also having them model what we want our kids to do. So very quickly, I'm going to go through a few more parts of our plan. This very colored plan that you see, it's a little difficult to see on the screen, but I want you to know that when students aren't responding to our Tier 1, we have a next step. We have a plan to support those students. So if you see on here, it says Level 1, maybe minor behaviors. Students may choose to demonstrate a behavior, and it makes it difficult to teach, and for others to learn. So what we do is we use these positive reinforcements to magnify what we want out of children. That typically does work, and what happens is those supports are positive, student stays in the classroom. Level 2, student's choice of behavior may still make it difficult, and for others to learn also. But then what we do is we go to a plan and we have what we call a think about it form. And that think about it form is right here. This front page of the think about it form just highlights what we know has happened because we actually mark this data. But on the back of this is what's important for kids. So kids can understand, here's the choice I made, but more importantly, what am I going to do next time? What can you do next time? So it's not about what I will not do. It's not that I won't yell next time. It's I'm going to use a calm, kind voice. So this is really how we turn around behaviors, having that conversation with children. We've outlined our behaviors, minor and major behaviors. We've defined them. We've agreed upon as a community what that looks like and what we know we have to support in changing. That's some more. And then this is another part of our plan that's very, very specific. We have Tier 1, your honey drops. That's for behavior. But we have other tiers. We have a Tier 2 and a Tier 3. So when children are engaging in behaviors that are difficult, we know that we have interventions now at the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 level that are very specific to support children in all 3 areas: academic, behavior, and social emotional. And we all know our part. That's what CI3T and this comprehensive plan will do. There's no questions, and parents will know what our job is, and our staff knows. So it's very little here, but you have it in print, have an opportunity to go over it. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about the plan. It is very detailed. This is our draft. And as I say, we're going to complete this in the end of June, and we'll have a wonderful bound version for everyone in our community, and parents will get this before they come to school. And then finally, we can't continue a program if we don't know that it's helping us. So it's all about gathering data, making sure we know what our assessments are, making sure we know what children are showing us that they may need additional tiered support. So assessments are a big part of this plan. We've had 2 surveys. We know that that brings fidelity to our program, validity to our program. So it's all research-based supports, programs, assessments. And so the last part is the assessment schedule. And it makes a nice connection because we even have what our pre-K is doing. So there's the connection. We have our early ed connecting with us, and we're connecting with the middle school. So we're all on the same page. So as a community, we're all here to really serve our kids. Any questions for me?
Great job.
Yes.
I would just suggest that there's a lot of abbreviations here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a cheat sheet.
Yes, actually, we will have that. We will have that spelled out. This is our draft as just right now in our team. But when we have our finalized packet, we're certainly going to, it's great input, and we'll certainly address that. Thank you. Anything else?
Are the other schools developing the same thing?
Yes, yes. All of the elementary schools are developing a plan. Middle school has engaged in it, and I know that the high school will be engaging it in the future. So it's very comprehensive across our SU. It's really wonderful to see. You know, I feel like we've done a lot of work in the BSD elementary schools with PBIS, so we kind of have a little leg up. Some schools are starting from the ground. They're creating also their PBIS framework, so they've done a lot of work. So kudos to them.
Is there any reason, since, we're 3 different places in one school, is there any reason why everybody can't adopt the same one?
We have similar plans when it comes to components, but I think that it's really important to acknowledge that there's some uniqueness amongst our schools. We as a staff work together, and so what they've done is they've come together and they really have this understanding that those are our 5 Beehive 5 expectations. I think Molly Stark are the stars. That's really a decision that their community says, we want to be the stars. And I think Bennell, or I can't remember if they're still the high 5 hands. But that's what puts the personalization on your community. And I feel like that's okay. And I think that there's a sense of belonging and ownership. So if we were all the same, wouldn't it be a boring world that we lived in? I don't think you probably want to be much like me.
Nobody wants to be you.
Well, and that's the thing. I think we come to this with an understanding of here's a community, but what the similarity is, we've all agreed that we have to be committed as a community to what we want our children to demonstrate in behaviors, what we want our children to demonstrate and in regards to academics, how we want them to excel. We all agree upon that. How we get there may be a little bit different, but the similarities are we do have assessments that are the same. We do have programming that are similar. We do have presentation of our plans that are similar. But the little tweaking differences, I'm not sure that Shaftesbury wants to be the bees. I don't know if they want to have a Beehive 5. So that little uniqueness, I think, is
wasn't talking
important.
about the behavioral ones. I was talking about
Oh.
the ones the intervention ones,
Yes, they are similar. Yes, they are similar.
but not the same.
No, actually they are. When we talk about tiered instruction, all of the schools are implementing tiered instruction. All the schools have plans. All of the schools have some core programs, as you can see. We engage in foundations. We may be doing Collins writing. We have our Go Math programming. So those things are the same. When it comes to the social and emotional, that also is the same. We're working with Kathleen Lane and the CI3 team, and we're looking at what are those screeners for those social and emotional competencies for children, and how do we support them. The other piece is we have the same community members to work with. I just met this morning with our truancy officer and our director of DCF. Well, we already have a plan. How do we bring in these community supports and organizations to help our children and help our families that may need that support in different areas? Truancy, coming to school. We have to work as a community in support of our children. If we don't do that, it's one person can't do it. We have to be a partnership. This allows us to be a partnership.
This is an off-the-wall question, but
Sure.
in the beginning of this year, we asked for a rate of people who came to school every day. And has that changed since we've been posting it and mindful of it?
We do have a like policy. You know, we have an attendance policy here in the SVSU. We have a program in our Infinite Visions who notifies, we have a letter that notifies all parents. So every week I'll meet with my support team and we'll print out those letters. We look at those children, we look to see what the absence, why the absences occur. We mail those letters and we invite those parents in to have that very supportive meeting. And how do we help you if attendance or truancy is an issue?
But has it improved this year as opposed to last year, or when we weren't watching it as much?
I'm not really sure of the data for the other two schools. I think ours has stayed the same. I think we've always had a model here where we have met every week, even prior to the revised attendance policy and prior to the letter, which is now formed. What I think it does is it's supporting all of us as an SU in a similar way, and I think that's important. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
It's not a question, I want to make a comment. Can we
Sure.
put on the task list for the next meeting that we get attendance from the 3 different schools? I know at Molly Stark they post it every week. I know that letters go home. I know if your child misses a lot of time, they call the
Right.
parents in.
Right.
But I don't know what you're
If it's
asking.
Yeah, it might be nice to see the progression.
It's only because we've started it this year, and we want to keep a track of it.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Donna. Nice.
Does that include late, tardy?
Yes, it will have
No,
everything on
Because it was
it.
printed on the bottom.
And I have all your Beehive Fives, and at the end of the meeting, we'll be pulling for a prize.
Okay, thank you again. And thank the children, again, we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And the parents for coming out. I'm just going to move the consent agenda up because we do have someone from the finance department here that has to leave. They got another commitment, so we're going to take up the consent agenda. Can we have a motion to accept it?
No, it needs, I need to. Okay. So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Okay.
discussion.
Yeah, in the board minutes, well, Richard, do you want to make your correction?
I've got a correction to make to page 5, item number 10. That was my, Jean caught this. The motion for the visits to schools policy, that motion actually failed with 5 opposed as opposed to 5 in favor. So that needs to be corrected.
Okay. Amend the minutes.
I'll amend that, yeah, I'll include that.
And my comment is page 7. The motion about hiring Pietro Lynn to be legal counsel for the energy project. It says in the minutes that the motion failed. There were 2 in favor, 1 opposed. There should be only 2 abstentions, because the chair shouldn't vote unless there's a tie. And the abstentions they're non-votes. So I don't know how the motion failed.
My understanding, it has to pass by majority of all members present. And those who abstain can basically become a no vote.
Right.
We can get a ruling on that. And because we had this challenged with another board, and there is no rule that a board chair cannot vote unless a tie. That's been a practice that we use, but the board chair is always eligible to vote. And my understanding is votes, for a motion to pass, it has to pass by a majority of members present, whether they're voting or not.
All right, well, then I want to challenge that motion.
I'll make a recommendation. We ask the superintendent to give us a ruling on it.
Legal opinion.
Could you do that? Ken?
We'll get clarification.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes, for
when did
clarification.
abstentions become no votes, and why do we have abstentions then?
I should just tell you that I had this issue on another board here, and it got reversed the following month because we were told that the abstentions, it's the majority of members present, but we'll get clarification on that so you don't have to take my view. I just know from the experience I've had previously.
Did the chair vote that night?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
And what was their vote?
abstention.
Abstention.
That means no vote, right?
Then why do
Get a
we-
ruling.
So it
Then
means
I just want to
3
find out why
and
we
2.
abstain then. Why don't they just vote no?
Well, that's why I'd like to
Yeah,
get a
we'll
ruling on
clarified.
it.
Yeah.
On the consent agenda, I'd like to discuss the teacher hiring amendment.
On the minutes?
No, this time. Just the position, not the teacher. I want clarification, because it says that you are replacing a first grade teacher.
We're not replacing a first grade teacher, we're replacing a teacher, but it's going to be at the first grade level.
So how many first grades are you going to have?
We're going to have 2.
How many kindergarten kids do you have coming into first grade?
We currently have 23 kindergartners, and we've turned away 3 kindergartners who live in our district this year. So I've had a conversation with the superintendent about inviting those 3 kindergartners back to their community, because they live in our district, and looking at splitting that 26 into 2 first grades. Our bubble classroom at the upper level has left, and that's been a practice in the past.
13 kids in the class?
We may get more.
In first grade, that's important to have a low number.
Well, I know that, but
We have a goal of 9.
that's a real low number.
Well, the optimal number would be 18, so I'm sure they'll get 4 more, up to 15.
We have seen that. It may go up. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. It may go up, it may go down, but we have a very lofty goal of 90% of our children and higher reading on grade level by 2nd grade. We have had some difficulties with our large classroom in kindergarten this year, where we've had the kindergarten teacher supported by other faculty members during our reading intervention. This would allow us to really look at those needs of those kindergartners going into first grade, We no longer have a bubble classroom at the upper level. Speaking with the upper level teachers, we're looking at a straight fourth grade and a straight fifth grade.
Well, I can only question you because I went online to find the class size and student population, and it wasn't there as it was supposed to be posted. If it is, I couldn't find it. Not in BSD documents, and it wasn't.
You mean the monthly attendance report?
Yeah.
We seldom have it on the first of the month, so when we meet this
Yeah.
early, we don't have it
It
yet.
said to be posted,
Yeah.
and it wasn't there. But I don't want to set a precedent here and then have 25 in a classroom at Molly Stark and 25 in a classroom at Bennington.
Well, I think their class sizes are actually smaller. There have been, I think our kindergarten was actually the largest this year.
I just want to make that clear. I really would feel bad that if we had students at Molly and Bennington Elementary with real large class sizes, and then we have 2 first grade classes up here with 13, or even 15.
We do look to balance them everywhere.
Well, Donna, you said that there would be no increase in staff. You're just taking a larger,
We're not increasing staff. We're actually just, which we have done every year.
Moving
There
around.
has been a bubble classroom, so we've done, as that bubble class has moved up. At one time, there were 2 kindergarten classrooms. And then what we have done is we've looked at 2-3 combination classrooms. Moving all the way up, we had No Child Left Behind. That also increased the numbers here at Monument. We no longer have that. So what we're looking at right now is that last class moving up to 5th grade. We looked at what we have currently in configurations, as we do every single year. And I was saddened to hear that 3 residents of Monument Community couldn't come to their home school. We didn't have the capacity to hold them, just in square footage.
It got to a point last summer where we had to send them to other
Yeah.
schools for the class size here.
I think it's only right to at least invite them back to their home community. I know that they have established summer relationships at the other schools. And my hope is that they would like to join our community again, but in order to do that and be able to implement this type of program, a very, very comprehensive program, so that children are progressing and excelling academically, I think it is a good choice. I can't predict the future. I don't have the crystal ball.
I
Yeah.
just know perception in the community is that this school is treated differently than other schools, and I try to tell them it's not, but people do see it that way. And I don't want there to be 25 in the classroom at Bennell and 25 in the classroom at Molly, and there only be 15 in the classroom here.
And I think there has been kindergarten, there's been years that kindergartens have been much lower at Bennell and at Molly Stark, where we've had very large numbers at kindergarten. So I think we
What was your
share.
kindergarten class this year?
Pardon?
What was your kindergarten class this year?
23.
23.
okay,
Otherwise, I don't have a problem.
thank you. Okay, any other comments there Jean mentioned about the vote? And they're going to check into that, and we made the corrections. Rick over there for 5-4 against 5 against.
Call the question.
Any other questions on the money or the, okay, all in favor of the consent agenda? Against? Okay,
You gotta sign off.
1 against. Gee. Okay, now we can, let's see, we got that finished. Thank you, Alice, for coming. Okay, now we can do citizens' comments.
I will get with finance, get her out of here.
She is, she's coming.
All set. Okay.
Citizens' comments. Yeah, you can sit at the table.
Yeah. Get the warrants. Get them warrants.
Oh,
There's 3.
how many do we have? 2?
Whoa.
Have them sign it.
Wait. Did you get an answer to one of the things on the task list?
Do you want me to stop her? Yes?
Do we have an answer on the task list?
Don't know which question you got there.
Okay.
breakdown of,
We're doing the citizens'
legal
comments.
fees. Wait a minute, we gotta go back because she's leaving. Detailed breakdown of legal fees, I'm sorry.
This is good.
She's gone.
Fees included in vendor voucher 2012.
She's back.
Because we asked for it at the last meeting, it's on the consent. It was on the task, and,
She might not have that answer, so what the answer that we got on that is you can see the summary sheet of expenses, which board member did I give this information to? Someone called in and asked this request now. So, so when we get our legal bills, we get a summary sheet by category and by school, so.
Jackie did.
Okay, we can give you the copy of the summary sheet, and you can come in and read the line item by line item, but it's considered like an executive session, privileged information, so any of you can come in and read the BSD bill. That's the practice that I'm told that we've used in the past and is used in other schools, so you can read that bill, but because it contains names and like who was in the phone call and who was in the letter and all that, we don't give out copies to that, but any BSD board member can come in and read the BSD bill. But you can also have this, the summary sheet is considered a public document.
Did we get paid for this bill? Paid
Unless we've paid the bill, then it's ours.
No, because that was the question asked last month, so what the answer I received back, you can read the bill, but it is not a public document. The summary sheet is a public document. The individual line item billings, any BSD board member can come in and read that bill, but it is considered a privileged document because it could possibly show, like in a lawsuit, a pattern of what advice was given, who said what and all that, so.
but on
That's the question you asked me, that's the answer I got back.
all right. Whoever gave you the answer, I think they need to do the summary sheets better. Because these are public documents, and if Mary wanted to ask, can I see the bill to see how much you paid for such and such, she should be able to see it and it should be clearly written in the warrants.
Again, that's not the information I received. The summary sheets are public documents. The individual line items of the bill, which contains names, is protected
Oh, I
under
understand
Jeff
that.
privilege.
I believe that. I believe that, Jim. What I'm saying is that I think when Stitzel, Page, and Fletcher bills us, they should bill us BSD 2,000, SBSU 10,000, pound, whatever. Just, they don't have to say what it's for.
Well, that's what the summary sheet is. There's a different summary sheet every month for every school board. And it'll say special ed, it'll say litigation, it will say negotiations. Those are the categories.
Okay.
So that's on the summary sheet, and that is a public record.
No, what we're saying is when the warrants for the SVSU get printed, one of the bills came out, it just said, bill $8,000. Then the next one said, contract negotiations, blah, blah, blah. And then another one said, legal services, blah, blah, blah. It should say, Bennington School District, this amount of money. This Pownell, this amount of money.
On the SU bill, you think?
No, on the warrants for the SVSU, they should show a breakdown, so we don't have to sit there and go through our warrants then, waiting for the bill backs. Or we shouldn't have to
We can't find them.
chase them down while I go through our warrants, looking for the bill back, because it'll actually show bill back in our warrant to repay the SVSU for our legal services. But we should know by going through the SVSU warrants, how much of that legal expense for Stitzel is our bill. So then we don't have to go through hunting through our warrants to go look for the bill back.
And honestly.
Is that, Alice, is that
he asked
something
for it.
that you can do easily?
I was just gonna say,
Wait a second, George.
I'm not sure. I don't usually see the bills, but I can pull them out and take a look and see
Yeah, I know it, Jeff deals with them.
I don't think it should be that hard, because if you're gonna be billing back for that amount,
Yeah, I don't think it would be, because like I said, those summary sheets are done by individual school boards, so is what you're, if I understand the question correctly, you would like the summary sheet included in the warrant?
For the SVSU.
Yeah, that'll break it down by each board by category, but not the specific line. I would think that is possible, because that's how the bills come. And I will tell you, the billing is lags, because I think the last bill we saw was March, right? March or April.
Yeah, because last time I talked to Jeff, he,
Was processing.
the last
March.
warrant was February, and then this one was just March.
Well, he's only one man. Give him a
Yeah.
break.
No, actually,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
No, we were just
Oh, no, that
them-
was the billing that just
them
came.
billing us, not.
It's not Jeff.
not
Don't
us.
be going after Jeff.
Yeah, so
I've known
those
Jeff
are
for a
already
long,
done.
long time.
And
I cut his
word from
hair,
Steve
thanks.
Stitzel, those are public documents, so I would think they could be included. But we'll.
thank you.
Thank you, Alice. I didn't know
Now
if
you
you
can
would
leave.
know or not,
Sorry.
that's why I asked.
Is she free now?
Yeah.
All right.
Just so, I'm sorry. They said you could leave it on there. We do have a
Run while
financial
the
question.
running's good.
Thank you.
Alice.
Can we
Now,
vote on that?
You
it's
could
your
try
turn.
again now.
Rich,
I'll
did we
try
vote on
again.
that warrant?
Yeah, we voted already.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mary Morrissey, representative from Bennington.
Thank you. This is the first opportunity I've had to come before your board, and I have been contacted by numerous individuals in the community, parents of children in the BSD schools here in Bennington. I've been contacted by teachers and then general public on the issue of our energy policy plan that is now on hold. I guess I would like to inquire of the superintendent as well as possibly the board. I'm not sure how we find ourselves in this position at this point. The policy or the plan was voted on by the taxpayers of Bennington at the town meeting. And I remember sitting at the Monday meeting right before the town vote on Tuesday. And I think actually you were all sitting right behind me. And as it was laid out what the plan was, everyone seemed to be on board, including the superintendent, and this board was, and it passed the next day. Subsequently, it rolls out several weeks or a week or two later, and I want to get the sequence in place, is that then all of a sudden, the Secretary of Education is deciding that we somehow have not done our energy policy plan appropriately. So I had several discussions with Secretary Holcomb, and first of all, I don't know how the Secretary of Education would be looking to decide what our energy policy plan is when there is no state money involved. And I asked her several times, and I said, how did this come before you? Because that's not in your purview to be doing. She also showed me the policy that showed that you should be looking to do this step, that step, and the other, but it did not say shall, which requires you to. I know of 4 other districts that did their plans very similar, if not exactly like what this board did. So it's very concerning for me, kind of in the 13th hour after our town wrapped their arms around doing an energy policy for these schools that is greatly needed, and our systems are antiquated at best. I have teachers saying that, one room's extremely hot, the next is freezing, the air quality is not great. And at the end of the day, this plan looked as though it was going to improve those problems as well as the cost eventually of what we're doing energy-wise. So I would like to know how we have gotten to this point. And I guess I'm fearful also as a taxpayer that now that we've had someone doing engineering and the plan is changed, and we are likely that we will have to go back to another vote if this changes in any dramatic way, because the taxpayers of Bennington are going to have to review again what the new policy plan is. You don't just tweak it and change it, it will. So how did we get to this point, and why was it after the fact, Superintendent Culkeen, that you approached, and it was said to me twice by Secretary Holcomb, that you were the one who approached her with the questions of this plan not being appropriate? She also indicated that, that they don't look at all these policies. They have enough, plans going forward with schools, consolidating and everything else. But I'm afraid that I don't know if someone's looking at the plan of a blueprint that still is on the books for a large BSD conglomerate of all the schools together, which has been out there for quite a number of years. That's my concern. And by the way, there is no state money. It's in a moratorium, so there's no schools to be built. So I don't know how we've gotten ourselves into this position. We've got an engineer who's started doing the planning and the process of this project that we're likely going to have to pay for and have nothing in a result for it. So could someone please explain to me how we've gotten ourselves to this point, and to a point where next year in the fall, we are not going to have a new energy efficient schools running up and running that will benefit our students as well as our teachers and our community. So please, could someone explain this?
Well, I think I'd be happy to sit down with you and the Secretary of Education, because there's some discrepancy between what she's saying and what you're saying. First, what the Secretary of Education pointed out to me is, this is state money. It might not be a state matching grant or anything, but every dollar for this is coming from the state ed fund, and that was from the Secretary of Education. It's being paid for by our budget, but our budget receives its money from the state ed fund. So the Secretary of Education said to me, this is state money, and therefore they do have a say in it. I don't know if she said something different to you, but that's what she said to me. So timeline of...
Could I ask, though, then why would it go to the voters?
That's the bond. The different whether they want to spend the money for the bond, raise the bond, to raise your tax rate, which, remember, the taxes go to the state, to the ed fund, and then dispersed. And Bennington is one of those communities, as you know, receives more money in state aid than we send in our tax base. So the money, a good portion of this money that will make those bond payments are coming from other communities in Vermont. And that's how it was explained to me. So my understanding is there's two ways to fund a construction project: traditional construction bond and a typical construction bidding process and a performance bidding process. The decision was made to go with a performance bidding process. So one of the stipulations, which allows you to accelerate the process for bidding and getting the project going. The stipulation for that is you need to have a third-party confirmation for what the savings says it's going to be to pay for that bond.
And when did you get this information? Because if this policy plan was not ready for prime time, it should never have come before the voters at the March meeting.
I was not the overseer of this plan until after the bond.
I'm sorry, Superintendent, the buck stops with you. You have to be looking at every single project that goes before you.
And it was being handled by the CFO up until the bond vote. So after the bond vote, it came to me. I sent the documentation to our attorney. Our attorney at that time told me he had never seen bond, the wording for the bond or any contracts with the contractor, that he wasn't even aware that BSD was going out for a construction project or had gone out for a bond vote, which, as superintendent, I did find that unusual that our attorney, who usually would be consulted in a bond vote or something like that, wasn't aware of it.
But
So-
I'm having a hard time understanding that. Again, you are the top person in our schools. You are the superintendent who oversees everything. So how did we get this passed, or did this go before you without you being aware? And you were very supportive of the project sitting behind me the Monday night before the election. If it wasn't for prime time, it should not have come before the voters.
I agree, but I was assured that it was ready, and it wasn't.
And you didn't review it.
I did to the best of my knowledge at that time. Did I return to our attorney? No, because I assumed that was being done. That would have been the process that was. So, once I was aware of it, then I moved forward with it. But up until that point, construction projects were not handled by the superintendent, whether that's right or wrong, but that's the process that was in place. So again, back to my understanding on why this has been delayed, is because without a third-party verification of your savings numbers, something like Efficiency Vermont, then you do not meet the criteria for doing a performance construction bidding project. You need to have somebody else, other than the contractor, verify what your savings numbers are. And that did not happen. So when I sent the original RFP to Efficiency Vermont, that was the first time they were seeing it.
And
When
what
I
was the
sent the energy
timeline,
audit
what was
to
the
them-
timeline on that you sent it to them?
After the bond vote, after everything that you've been hearing about going on.
But always after the bond vote went through.
Correct. And as I said, it was handled by somebody else up to that point.
Again, I'll repeat, the buck stops with you, Jim.
I agree, and that's why I'm correcting it and moving forward.
Well, again, how do the taxpayers and the voters of Bennington have an understanding of what's going to now go forward? Because obviously.
So the engineer to do the RFP estimated cost $3,000. Why an engineer wasn't involved in the project earlier, I don't know. We use an engineer just about on every project that we do. The $100,000 roof projects, we have an engineer design the RFP and send it out. Wasn't done this time. So it'll cost us $3,000 to have the RFP done, and the engineer is meeting tomorrow morning with Efficiency Vermont to make the recommended changes in the RFP that Efficiency Vermont has now made, now that they've seen it. Hopefully we'll move forward on that project. What we don't know is it might be the best $3,000 we ever spent. We don't know who's going to bid on this project. That was one of the other alarms to this, is the window between the RFP going out and the contract being awarded. The engineer is recommending that we lengthen that to a minimum of 30 days this time, to see if it does attract other bidders that could actually drive down the price. So we don't know that, because there was only one bidder last time, one bidder, and it was the same person that did the energy audit. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that it would have been preferred that we had multiple bidders on the project.
So what is the timeline for all of this to happen, and when will the next vote be on it?
The bond vote is there. My understanding is the bond stays unless there's a vote to rescind the bond. So there's no timeline on spending the money on the bond. The other thing that's important to understand is the letter from the Secretary of Education. All the lending institutions who would lend us money for the bond said they would not lend us money until we had rectified the conditions that the Secretary of Education outlined in her letter. So we did have to deal with her letter. Whether we agreed with it, we could have fought it, we could have legally fought that, possibly, but that would have delayed it even longer than just complying with what she laid out in her letter. So what would be the timeline? My understanding is no later than August, according to MSK Engineering, that it could be late July, early August by the time we're ready to award a bid again, and with a timeline for construction for next summer. And Efficiency Vermont has pointed out that we might even see some savings in a rebidding because of one of the recommendations they've made since we sent them the energy audit was that the LED lightings that recommended is dropping dramatically in price between when it was bid and when it might be rebid. And they also question about whether, and this is going to be up to the engineer to make the recommendation, whether we want to relight the buildings, because Efficiency Vermont pointed out that in 2012, all buildings, all 3 school buildings were relamped to the most efficient fluorescent light fixtures, and whether there'd be enough savings in the relamping to LEDs, that needs to be looked at, whether there'd be enough savings to match what it is said in the energy audit by the contractor. And that's what Efficiency Vermont is going to help us do, as required by the law, help us to verify the savings that the contractor says will be there if we do it.
Do board members have comments as to?
I was under the impression that we didn't have to re-vote that.
We don't.
You don't have to
Don't
revoke
have
the bond, no. The bond stays unless someone, comes up with a petition to rescind it, but that's a
Stays.
complicated process, but the bond is there.
I have 2 letters from the Vermont School Boards Association, Vermont Superintendent's Association, the other group that was supposed to do audits. They had done audits at our buildings in 2008, 2013, and one previous to that, where they highly recommend that we do everything that was in the energy audit. The RFP that we sent out the first time is a 2-part thing. One is for the company to give us their qualifications and their scope of work, which the board accepted. EEI. They were the only one to bid, but we were told that it was sent out to, it was publicized in the paper, and it was sent out to 3 separate companies. One company did not respond. Johnson Control did not want the job. They responded and said they did not want the job, so the job was given to EEI. EEI started their the second phase of the RFP in early fall. They went through the buildings and evaluated all the energy systems in the building. They gave us, this board, a guaranteed savings, and what that means is, that's why we're doing an RFP, because if we do it the other way, there's no guarantee on savings. If we don't have these savings, then they make them up. Am I right, Jerry?
Yeah, basically, that's the simple term of it is.
Yeah.
They guarantee you a net savings in cost, and if it doesn't fall into that, they give you the money.
So in January, knowing that we were going forward, or shortly, no, I think it was right after we got the bond vote, this board told EEI to do the engineering studies for the roofs and that kind of stuff, that the equipment that we were buying, that they were going to buy and install this summer, would, that our systems would take it. So they had to do that. Now, the $3,000 engineering study that they're doing is, they're looking over the RFP, they're talking with Efficiency Vermont, they're going to put it out to bid, and they're going to check to make sure apples to apples and oranges to oranges,
So nothing different.
basically.
Yes, it is different.
It's not that different, Jim. It's very minute, and as far as the lighting goes, you're talking about the lowest cost in the whole thing. You keep bringing up the lighting. I'm telling you, if we go out 2 years from now, we can save money on the lighting because the price is going to be lower then, no matter when we choose it.
So Efficiency Vermont also points out, and I have those printouts for you tonight because you requested them last week, that the kilowatt charge that the contractor used is higher than what they would recommend being used for calculations of savings, so that they think, in Efficiency Vermont language, the savings projected will be shortened. And also that they feel that there was not an apples-to-apples comparison on the fuel oil because they used a historic high number for the cost of fuel oil, but they used the current low number for propane to make the comparison. So again, nothing wrong with that, but they said their prediction is the savings will be shortened or less than projected. And that's why Efficiency Vermont is required to be in on the project to verify the savings that the contractor says is there. And they very well might be there, but what the Secretary of Education told us is that we need to have a third-party verification of it, which didn't happen.
And the Secretary of Education didn't get involved in anybody else's project in the state.
And that was my understanding. That is why I'm
And-
before you tonight to somehow have an understanding, because taxpayers and citizens and parents and teachers are all scratching their head going, we're now waiting another year on something that could have benefited our children and the schools and the teachers within.
So what I don't know about those other school districts is whether they engaged Efficiency Vermont correctly. They did use the similar RFP because the RFP was passed around by business officials in different school districts to use. I don't know where it was originally generated. I don't know if the contractor originally generated a lot. That I don't know. But and the other thing that I don't know is, so we know that it was used in other places. What I don't know is whether they engaged Efficiency Vermont in the manner in which is required under the statute.
And EEI did use Efficiency Vermont since January on. Have been in the buildings with them, and they've walked through the buildings with them several times.
That's true, but what Efficiency Vermont says is they've never received our utility bills for analysis, which they're required to see, and they had never seen the energy audit until I sent it to them.
And I guess, Mary, my biggest concern is the fact that if this was something that should have been done, or if it was a concern, why the superintendent didn't come to the board and then act. We didn't find out about it until it was already in action. The superintendent went behind the board and took action, and then we found out about it after it was already causing an issue between him and the attorney.
I read it in the paper, and that's why I went to Secretary Holcomb to say, how is this happening after the fact? And again, I would have hoped that if it wasn't ready for prime time, the plug would have been pulled on it before they went out to vote. And that's how it should have happened.
I agree.
Well, I guess clear as mud, but not really. So I'm able to tell my constituents and concerned citizens that this is at least a year out or longer?
Yes.
Not longer.
Next year.
Next year.
Be next summer.
And hopefully we don't have snow days so that the kids can get out early and we can start early.
And we hope we don't have any furnaces fail over the winter.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing this information to light, Mary.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, task lists.
Somewhere in here.
I got it.
I have it. We had the Girls on the Run sneaker question from the citizen comment the last time. Do we have an answer to that?
Was that about why it's at one school and not at others? Yeah.
Yeah.
So my understanding of it, it's an individual school issue with each, it's available to any school that wants to do it. It's not something that we mandate with every school. So it's a club that exists in some schools and not all, not universal.
Lori was asking about sneakers being bought at certain schools. That's what she said.
It's granted. There's a grant.
Grant.
That
Each
usually
school has
provides
to
the
apply
price of the
for.
sneaker. And the program is run by volunteers. It's volunteer driven.
We've had it at our school for many years. I could not get a volunteer this year. We didn't get to have it.
Her question was specific to
Sneakers?
the sneakers.
Yeah.
Because I know at Powell they do it.
Yeah.
Or in Mohawk.
They're bought for them.
Yeah.
It's a grant. Okay.
Not by budget, by grant.
Yeah. Next.
Vermont
what-
Tissue. So we do not have a contract ready to sign for any of the school districts. It's still something that's being worked out between the hydropowers attorney and our attorney, and quite frankly, I'm not too sure we're going to get there, so we haven't scheduled a tour at this time because preliminary comments that we're getting back is the savings may not
10%?
yeah, I might not be there, or it could be, but it's not done. It's still lawyers back and forth on what the contract actually looks like. So I didn't think we would do it before because I'm not sure it's going to happen in this fiscal year for sure.
Principals will let the board know about special events at the end of the year. Got
Donna
that from
called,
you.
that hers.
Yeah. Did you receive it from the other principals? Because they didn't send us,
And a form put up on the website for any community members who are interested in the committee. That's the Act 46 committee,
It's
right?
there.
Okay, all right, so that was it.
No? Distribution to BSD board members of SBSU vision, mission, and programs discussed during the 4/26/16 SBSU board meeting. And summer school update and community survey.
Is the summer school plan going?
Can you speak to what the summer school plans at your school?
Yeah, we, and I believe they're similar amongst the 3 BSD schools. So it will run from July 5th through July, that last week in July, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12. And then each school kind of creates the programming with their staff in regards to their funding and budgeting for summer programming. I can tell you what ours looks like. We actually have instructors to work with children in reading, writing, math, and social emotional, some social skills learning, which is great. And we're also looking to give some added support to maybe some incoming kindergartners beyond our scope of our kinder camp, which will be nice once a week.
And the youngsters get a snack and lunch?
Oh, they
as
all
well?
get, yes, it runs to align with the Abbey Group and their lunches, so we're really an open venue for our community. You don't have to be a part of the summer programming. If you would like your breakfast and lunch for your children, you can actually come here and have that breakfast and eat here. Not be a part of necessarily the summer programming, but the children will get their breakfast and lunch delivered every day.
But you can't have adults meandering around the building and stuff like that you don't know.
No, they'll be in the lobby. Yeah. And then we also have a coordinator who runs everything, makes sure the children are picked up, has all of their personal information, and they set it up so that it runs in groups throughout the morning session.
Jim, what about special needs? The paperwork done and all that?
My last discussion with them, yes, but
Well, it's been done by June 1st today. Just checking.
Okay. Is that it for the task list?
Just that,
community survey, we're still waiting for sample surveys from Steve Dillon, formerly of the Vermont School Board Association. But as I told you at the last meeting, there's a cost associated with that.
I thought we voted to do it.
And I still don't have the survey.
Okay. And this was from Donna Lee, because Donna, I don't know if you heard it at the last meeting or not. So, you did a presentation at the SBSU meeting in April.
Yes.
And I was wondering if we could have the materials that you did at that meeting and maybe a brief overview of that. And
It's
what,
all posted if you want to see it. It's on the SBSU agenda for that day. But I'd be happy to come. Maybe you would like it when we have, at the beginning of the school year, we're going to have all the principals and directors update the plan and their new goals and activities they'll be working on.
okay. What I really would like to see with it is the data, how you're going to measure it.
Okay.
I want
And
to see the
think-
measurement tools.
And that would be better, again, at the beginning of the year, because our testing cycle is just ending. We don't have all the data yet, but we usually start the new year with that, so that everyone can see what the data looks like and what the assessments are. I certainly could send you an outline of the assessment calendar and plan, if you would like to see that, of
Yeah.
what the dates are when we do all the assessments.
Yeah, the measurement tools would be especially important when we go into budget season. I think it's always nice to know what you really need to throw money at, not throw money at, move money towards that might be more important.
Yep, and that's why at that cycle of starting, and we usually start like the first meeting in September to do that kind of presentation, so you have the information and the principals and the leadership teams have all had time to work on setting those kinds of goals, and they usually project for you what the needs would be for meetings.
Okay.
Be glad to do it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, number 4, personnel reclassification of position at Bennington Elementary.
It's a request by the principal of Bennington Elementary School to reclassify their guidance counselor position from what is currently listed as a social work position. It's basically going to be budget neutral, similar to what the position is called at Molly Stark, and it will help filling the position because of the certification issues required. Just want to let you know the social workers are off contract and guidance counselors are on contract, but it'll make the position similar to how it is at Molly Stark and Monument here. But for whatever reason, and that person is retiring, so you're not reclassifying the individual. Social worker retiring, we want to hire you don't have a identified guidance counselor at Bennington Elementary, so we want to classify that as that. Recommendation of Jim Law.
Can we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, any discussion?
Clarification, so the proposal is to reclassify the social worker position as
To a school counselor, yep.
To school
Counselor.
counselor, to guidance counselor?
No, to a school.
School counselor.
Call it a school counselor.
Questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Okay, under finances, treasurer's report for May. Can we have a motion to accept that?
Second.
Oh, wait a minute, I haven't seen it.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, no. That was another thing I looked for.
Oh, that's right, excuse me, you said the first of the month was too early. Okay, we'll hold off on that, but we do have B, the tax anticipation note.
Yes, and I just did it this morning, and I emailed it out
Yeah.
as soon as I received it. I have reviewed it, everything does be in order as it is annually. Just to kind of give you a recap, I think I emailed that out to everybody as well. We received 2 proposals, one from People's Bank. They offered us a line of credit at 1.3% for 5.5 months, so that would be a straight cost to us to borrow that money. Merchants Bank offered us similar, a 1.1% line of credit, so again, being a straight cost. But going with the full loan, we have the opportunity to invest that money via arbitrage, so we're going to be able to offset the borrowing expense by borrowing the full amount and then investing it at the higher rate once we get the taxes turned over, the end of November.
The only two that submitted,
And I requested from 4
okay.
Which institution?
merchants.
Okay, can we have a motion to accept the tax anticipation note from the
So
merchants
moved.
and waive the reading of the
The
note?
articles.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
And a second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, thank you.
So there are 3 places, and I have them flagged for everybody to sign. Thank you.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
a question of Renee, why, because when we borrow for the energy project, if we can't borrow by August with the bond bank, are we gonna be out?
Oh, no. We can do short-term financing, so anything less than a year, and then the bond bank will go back out to sale.
Which is similar to what you're going to have to
Yeah,
do this
in
time. You're
May.
going to have to do short-term
Probably
borrowing until the bond bank
May
opens.
of
Can we make money off of it through arbitrage?
That'll be straight borrowing.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, education matters, regular education. Donna, was that your presentation? So we're all set with that. Thank you very much, that was very nice. It's always good to see the youngsters
Did a great
in
job.
action. You're very good.
They created their own scripts too.
I
which
noticed
thought
that,
was
yeah.
Awesome. No
And they-
help by me.
And they invited everybody to the ice cream social, but
Yeah.
that
Don't
was,
say no.
Yeah,
I'll
just
say
let
no.
us know one day ahead.
Oh, no problem. We'll decide upon a date tomorrow and I'll email you all.
Okay.
Can you
And,
please do it at
okay,
11?
okay, we've got the.
11?
Okay, now we have some policies, 2 to adopt, 1 to warn. Okay, policy 4261, substitute teachers. We have a motion to adopt this policy.
So moved.
Okay, can we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on substitute teachers? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, policy 5145, condom availability, a motion to adopt.
What is that?
Means they'll be able to give
It's
time
really junior
themselves.
high, middle school.
not
High school.
the junior high yet, only the high school. this time.
It's only at the high school. Can we have a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Okay.
Second.
Second, Jean. Any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, all, yep.
I'd like a presentation about sex ed at some point in the, where we.
Curriculum.
Yeah. I mean, the BSD, we have a program, right? Yeah. I'm interested.
Okay, put that on a future agenda.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of 5145 condom availability? Okay, against? Okay, 1 against, Jackie. Pro. And C, 5,200 fundraising, motion to warn this one.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, again, if you have any comments on this one, you can see Jackie Kelly over here, and she's our representative, and she will bring up your concerns. Okay, all in favor of warning this policy?
Oh, we weren't gonna,
What?
I just had a quick question.
Yes.
Are they gonna tie it into the, because I read it at the SVSU meeting, are they gonna tie it into the wellness policy?
Fundraising?
The fundraising as far as, so they're not selling cupcakes, so they're not selling,
Oh, yes, yes.
is there gonna be, because I know right now as it stands, there is no tie-in to the wellness policy. So I was wondering if they're gonna put like or can there a little be a blip in there to tie it into the wellness policy so that they look at the wellness policy so they're not selling cupcakes and chocolate bars and those kind of things. So I meant to mention it at the SVSU meeting and
I'll ask them.
okay, cool. Okay, now you can vote.
Okay, all in favor of the policy on warning, excuse me. Unanimous. Okay, next item, superintendent's report.
At last week's special meeting, you asked for copies of the emails from Efficiency Vermont, so there's 3 emails there, copies for everybody. With many of the points they're talking about, and I know that there, as we mentioned, there is a meeting tomorrow between Efficiency Vermont and MSK Engineering to get the details worked out, so hopefully the RFP can move forward. I also have a folder for everybody. This is who applied to be.
Efficiency Vermont.
There's 4 applications to be your community member to the Act 46 Study Committee. You have 3 community members that you can select. Would have been easy if you had 3 applicants, but now you have 4 applicants. Their applications are here. It's the board's decision of who you would like to appoint and what the pleasure of the board is. Whether you want to discuss this tonight, take some time to look and see who the 4 applicants were. I have a copy for Richard.
Yeah, I don't even know one of these people.
How many can we pick, Jim? How many can we pick?
3. Would have been convenient if you had 3, but you have 4. And I'd like to say, because anybody's listening, we're still looking for community members from Pownell, Woodford, and Shaftesbury. So we're still looking for 1 from each one of those communities that would like to step up and serve on it.
Should we interview them?
Yeah, is the Bennington Rutland Supervisory, which one is that?
That's
not Arlington.
No.
No.
That's the
Battenkill.
BVSU.
No, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Manchester, Dorset, Londonderry,
Oh, that's what that one is?
Sunderland.
Okay. Yeah, I think that we could set up some,
So you have a couple of dates, though. You have, we closed these today, because what we were telling everybody up until your board meeting. So it looks like the 21st, because originally it was scheduled for June 20th, but it looks like June 21st. Jackie had called for an Act 46 study committee because we thought all board meetings would happen by that date and we would have the community members in place. The next date that's crucial is July 12th, is when we meet with Stephen Sanborn, who is the consultant to our committee for Act 46. So it'd be nice to have them in place by then.
As far as the meeting goes in June, on this board, nobody can make it on the Monday.
No, that's what I'm hearing.
And I can't do it on the Tuesday, and I can't do it for the rest of the month.
So I don't know if we need the June meeting if
We
we're
might
off.
have to go to the July
July
8th
12th.
meeting, or what?
12th.
12th, it's
Yeah.
in my book. 12th meeting, and,
That would give you
but we
more
need to
time.
tell these people
Yeah.
before then.
are you going to be around the rest of June, no?
No, I'll be away until the end of June after that Monday. From June 21st on.
But Jim just said he may not have to have that.
So we.
No, it sounds like
No, but
we're
I
not
mean,
going to do.
interviewing these individuals.
Well, we could do it in the next few weeks.
When will you be
You'd have to
back?
call a meeting to
I'm
do
thinking
it.
as long as it's
No, it's
before
good.
the July 12th.
Move that along, because she wants to go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on, just, gotta have signatures.
No, that's it.
Oh, they've signed it.
No, they don't need to, it's just a majority.
All right,
It's fine.
I'm gonna be here until the 20th, and then I'll be back.
It's already done.
I can do something on the 29th and 30th.
They aren't,
You
you
can
didn't
put it
sign
underneath
yet?
there. Okay, 29th and 30th, 6, 13, 20.
3 times.
So
Oh,
it's
you
a
only
Wednesday,
need majority.
Thursday.
I can do it on a Wednesday or Thursday that week, it's 29th or 30th, or I can do it before the 20th.
Why don't we shoot for the 20? You sure you're going to be back on the 29th or 30th?
Yes, unless the plane goes down.
So you could do something the week of the 13th, you're saying, or?
Yeah, I can do anything that.
Absolutely.
I'd rather not wait to the 29th. I mean,
So the week of the, what, 6th or the week of the 13th?
I think we should do it the week of the.
How about if I have merely poll the 4 people to see when they'll be available, and then see if I can match it up? So give me a couple of dates that you think, so let's look at it this
I
way.
have negotiations on the 13th.
On the 13th. So what about Tuesday, the 14th? Is there anyone who couldn't make a meeting on that day?
No.
No?
Anytime.
Okay, so Tuesday, the 14th is a
Early in
possibility.
the morning.
And a second date, because we'll see when we can get the most of those people there.
Are you talking a morning, afternoon, evening?
I'm assuming that some of these people, because some of these people work, you're probably looking more at like a 5 o'clock meeting.
Whatever.
Is there anyone who couldn't make it at 5 o'clock on the 14th?
No,
All
I
right.
think they want to be fair.
So we'll try for that. And if we have to push it out to Tuesday, the 21st, you're gone by.
Let's just get it done in that week.
All right. Okay.
But if this board wants to make the decision, I don't have to be there.
You can just tell us what your comments are. How's that?
Why can't we make the decision tonight?
Well, because we don't, do you know these people?
Gotta
All
inter-
4 of them?
I don't,
I don't.
I don't know the gentleman.
no.
I don't know one of the people on it.
Me,
I'm not voting on somebody I've
Mary, I
no.
think you should put one in.
I know Ann. I don't know Kim Marie who.
We did tell people that it would close at your June meeting date.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Can you make the 14th, Jackie?
Yes.
Yes, she said she can at 5 PM. So that's, when we're looking at it, we're going to contact the 4 people
Oh,
tomorrow.
good,
See if they're available Tuesday, the 14th, 5 PM. Maybe they're home listening. So
And we just have, we've done this
casual
before.
conversation.
A short conversation with him, go in and make our decision.
How about like the 16th too, if they can't make the 14th, the
I
Thursday?
make the 16th.
My folks will be flying in, so I won't be here. She'll have my proxy
Okay,
if need be.
The
14th,
16th is Thursday.
okay, thank you.
Is beautiful.
And it's nice to see we had 4
So
people.
that'll be that'll be the fallback, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it, Jim?
No, so I wanted to tell you that we met last Monday with Mike Mugis. He spent the new principal at Molly Stark, spent the morning with Donna Leap and I, and then he spent the afternoon at Molly Stark with meeting with the staff, similar to the presentation you saw earlier tonight. Somebody had asked that question, what the other schools are doing. So Dr. Mugis is returning on June 27th, 28th, and 29th, and he will be working with the team there to develop their CI3 team to develop their CI3 plan. So what I have for you this evening is when Dr. Mike Mugis met with Donna Leap and I, we had asked him to bring an entry plan. So here's copies of his entry plan, and at your August meeting, we're going to invite him in, but we thought that we would share this with you since you are not going to meet in July. You'll see what he is planning to do to get a jump start on his position, and I thought that the board would be interested in seeing that. So there you go, and there should be a copy for Richard there also. And it was mentioned here earlier, I think by Donna, but I want to officially say it, that the last day of school is June 10th, Friday, June 10th. It is a full day of school for the elementary schools, and staff will report on Monday, the 13th, and the summer vacation will begin. So the last school district to vote on that was Pownell, and they did vote to end school on the 10th. So I just wanted to keep repeating that so that that message gets out. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, committee, FS, food service, is there?
I had it right here. Give me 1 second. They did inform us, and that Pownell won the Breakfast After the Bell Challenge, and things kind of slowed down after we,
And Molly
oh, and it was Molly Stark also? Pownell stuck in my head.
They
The
came in
picture
first.
was there.
They were
Yeah.
going to present the banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picture of
Molly
it.
had the highest percentage, but, Pownell had the highest percentage, so they were getting the banner presented to them at a ceremony, but Molly is also getting a banner,
Right.
just not the ceremony.
Help me, FSMC? What was that abbreviation?
Food Service Management Company.
Contract award update, and we went through all the menus for June, and we all got to look at the nice color copies, but we were handed out black and white ones. And things are winding down now that the contract has been awarded, and it's a nice, lax meeting now.
Talked about barbecues.
Barbecues and stuff, and for June, for the different schools. And that was about it. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
No, it was a quiet meeting now that the contract is awarded, and they were very happy, and of course, and we're very pleased with that.
It's relief on us, being we knew and couldn't say anything. Our heads were like, could just explode. That was about it.
Okay, thank you. SBSU, George, for May 25?
Well, a couple of items that Jim didn't cover under his, only because he left me something to do here. But Donna had presented, our Assistant Superintendent, the Southwest Vermont Supervisory Union multi-function document. That was on the award. I'll cancel that for a minute. On the duplicating machine business, that award was given to the same company that has it, which is Repeat Business. So that was brought up to us by Mr. Barnes, and the information, they were low bidder. They're the company that presently has it. Everybody seems to be happy with it, and it's going to be less money in the coming year than it is. The other item that the board had met in executive session already, but we were presented, the supervisory was presented with the evaluation process that we're using for principals and administrators, and we've put that into effect tonight in executive session, and it was adopted by the supervisory, and it's now a working document, which is the first time in many years that we've had a standard procedure that we can operate under. Basically, that's the items that I have.
Okay. Under,
In the future, at the SVSU level, I think by contracts, people have to be evaluated much sooner than June.
she said administrators are supposed to be evaluated sooner than June.
Yes.
Evaluation is due at the June meeting.
You sure?
Yes.
Yes. In May, I'm supposed to meet with the evaluation committee, and then they're supposed to give a report by the June meeting.
But that's yours, but the principals and stuff are earlier.
They're all done earlier, but the principals have to be done by March, by their contract, yeah.
Okay. I just have next meeting for the BSD is going to be Wednesday, August 3rd. Seems like far away. I enjoyed the article in the banner the other day about Molly Stark, where the gentleman there from the Four Winds was in there with all his different birds and stuff like that. I used to teach that for 8 years at Bennington Elementary School. And my question is, does anybody know how that was paid for? Was that like the PTG raised money, or did it come out of anybody's?
I don't know about the program at Molly.
I
You'd
don't
have to
know.
ask Donna.
Because I know, I think we cut off our foot on this one. I mean, your school here had so many volunteers that they had to take turns coming in to teach this program. And I know Bennington Elementary was about 75% staffed all the time. And, it was a shame to lose that, because the kids really, and I think it was like a $5,000 or $6,000 for all the schools. So I think when we talk about budgets next year, we should really think about trying to bring that back, because I think that's really worth it. And I was just wondering the status of Janitronics, because I thought the contract ends at the end of June.
At the last meeting, we discussed, we did a one-year rollover on that
Oh, okay.
contract. But
Okay, I wasn't there. All right.
with the thought of, until we have a new director of finance and operations in place, the prudent thing to do is roll it over, and then they can do a thorough review of whether we keep them beyond that. So a one-year rollover. And it was a provision in the contract to do that.
Thank you.
The only objection I have to that is it wasn't brought to the board and it was signed by the superintendent, and it is a legal document and a contract, and we are fiduciary responsible people for what goes on in our district. And it was a $150,000 contract. Even though it's only for a year, and we would have gave him permission, but I think we should have known first.
Thank you for that. Okay, anything else to come before the board?
Yes, we're in negotiations with the paraeducators and the support staff. It looks like we're going to, we're looking to try to do an extension of a one-year contract with them because the insurance field is going to explode in November. And so it would be in the best interest of the board and the union to do a one-year extension of the present contract and go into negotiations with the teachers and the paras at the same time next year. And we will start in September.
Do you know the relationship between VHI and the NEA?
Oh, yes, I do, very well.
Because it seems like, you know, in reading the communications I get from the VSBA and stuff, that seems like they're in bed together.
They are.
And I know they had Joel, is his name Joel? The head, I mean, he serves on the VHI committee.
Yeah, he serves on your board. They have special liaisons in the legislature. When they came down to explain to the teachers about the different programs that we were looking at the last negotiations with the teachers, you got the VSBA, no, you have VSBA, and you have the union rep who's on VSBA, sitting there telling us what they shouldn't, you know,
It's
going
not,
against
it's just not,
everything we're
it's just
looking
not
at.
a neutral group of
No,
individuals.
it's not, and I think it's very unfair, and I think we need to pressure the Vermont School Boards Association to see if they can do anything to change that.
Okay. Now, did you have anything you want?
Yes, we have an executive session. Can I have an executive session with the superintendent for academic records pending or probable civil litigation?
Okay, can we have a motion to go on executive session?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
And I'm going to have the superintendent pick one Beehive 5 out of here so that you can